the effect is also mental, because when you have a bad experience, it tends to carry over to the next experience until somebody says, breathe, have a nice day, or something to kind of break that. Okay? So the owner, but now again, your employees, you got to get that same mindset to them, not to take it personal, number one. Okay? Give the customer some slack. Don't just,
serve everybody a glass of wine.
Yeah.
Calm them down.
That would be nice. Okay? Use soothing language, try to understand where the person's coming from. Take a look in the mirror sometimes, see what you see, put yourself in their place. And that's what the customer's about. That's fine. Any questions so far? We good? You understand all this? The reason we're going this way is because it's more interesting than just reading through. You want your staff to give 110%. You really do. You have to get them motivated. How can you motivate? Besides offering them bonuses. Money is not always the motivation.
No, incentives, I think. Maybe a day off, or a couple hours off early.
Yeah, something like that. But that's what they
with pay.
Yeah. Don't document that an appointment in the middle of the day, as long as they don't abuse the privilege. Okay, you can have policies and expect them to follow it. You can also keep an eye on it, so if they're doing very well, you've had take a break. It may be just a matter of letting them take a break. Instead of them having to say, look, I can't do this anymore, I need a break. Well, you got to watch that. There are some businesses that, they dock you. You don't get a break, or they build in the break and then the employee takes a little bit longer than what they're supposed to because nobody's watching. And there are some that, they'll tell you to take a break and they, take as long as you need right now. But, can you come back within an hour? You don't have to demand, I expect to see you back here immediately. Those kinds of things. It happens, we're human. And the employees are human. And the customer is definitely, so you don't want the customer to feel it. There's another time I was in doing with Wow, and apparently the employee who's on the register had gotten into an argument with another employee, or something happened. And I was the next one in line. Well, yeah. The woman said all the right things, but she said it in such a way that if you said the wrong thing, she would have jumped over the counter and you would pray for your life. Okay? I mean, she just looked like, may I help you? The stare was, out into nowhere. There was no smile. It was grim. It was almost like she spit nails. Don't say one thing out of place because you do next. Okay. And she still held the policy, but you could tell point blank she was not the right person to be out there in front of the public like that. Okay. So I mentioned it to one of the people in the store, manager, and the manager took off with her. So. And so she's in no condition to deal with the public right now. And the manager said, oh, I didn't realize that. Okay. And she listened to overall. You can have those situations. Well, I did what you said I should do. See, I did it. Well, if they're saying it with that kind of an attitude, then they're not doing what you said, because the attitude's there. So you need an attitude break. It's not just about the policy. It's also about the attitude. Okay? Because a lot of employees, you can tell when the employees had a bad day or they just got chewed out. The boss said something to them, just like you said about the food.
Yes, they do mean stuff behind the scenes.
Right. Yeah, they do. I was working in fast food when I was a teenager, and there was a coworker who spit into the hamburgers before putting them on the grill.
That is so mean.
Okay, and I don't remember if he was mad at the customers coming in or mad at the manager who told him something. Okay, but it's the attitude that you have to watch. It's not just what the policy is. It's, you don't say, well, the policy says. That's not the way to motivate the employee. Okay? You can go through the policies with them and make sure they understand. You can see if they're having a bad day, just like you said, you know, there's something wrong. Not just the customers, but on your employee side too. Sometimes they come to work with an attitude, and you don't, and it's not you, and they don't even realize that they're carrying the attitude. Okay, I've seen that happen before too. You know, you could have a bad day. Who controls you when you're having a bad day? You have to do it to yourself, right? It's the same thing with me. You know, and I know when I'm not all there, sometimes things I either shut down or I start picking. Until I say, Jerome, wait a minute. As a business owner, you start gauging yourself around. You know, we all have those days. Okay, and it's all right to have them, just recognize it, learn how to recognize it. Recognize it in yourself and in your employees, yeah.
I believe, well, I don't really speak. You're going to do mail order type stuff.
Yeah.
Let me give you an example. Again, I'm repeating to what's in front of me up until February. Helping me, I'll be in costume for this Victorian out thing that's going on here in the city. So I ordered a dress the other day, and after I ordered the dress, I realized I made a mistake. I made a mistake in the size. So you could go back to eBay or to the seller. She wrote me such a sweet letter and apologized, told me she'd be praying for me through all this, but she's going to take the dress back. And now I got a pair of boots, and they were supposed to have been delivered to me on the 3rd. I got the paperwork and everything. Deadline for the delivery was 3rd. I got them on the 9th. I couldn't wear those on the 4th of July because they weren't available. So here's one mail order people. They're going to email it back at their cost. And now the boots are going to cost me $36 to return them. They were $99 to begin with, but I'm going to have to pay because it was their fault that I didn't get them on their scheduled date. So who do you think I really like at this point? I like the lady that wrote me the letter, and she was so curt. She didn't know me, and she, said she'd be praying for me as I'm encountering all these misfortunes. And now here I am today. I got the stuff in the car to mail back, and I'm upset that I'm going to have to pay $36 to mail back something that did not get to me on time.
I try to. So far, I've been lucky. I don't think I have any disappointed customers that have never called, or the ones that have called, but if I get into that problem, I do everything I can. I'll send them.
To satisfy. Yeah. Well, see, that's what I think it should be. They're satisfying me, so I'm going to boast about this. But the people that sent me those boots whose letter indicated I would get it by the 3rd of July. And I didn't do it.
Yeah, if I did it and I didn't, then
you'd eat it.
Yeah, send you some cookies and
yeah.
whatever I can.
What do you do if you get a student who still fails? After you do tutoring or in the class or they're not getting it, what do you do?
Well, if I know that this student has done everything that they possibly could have, not done this before in tutoring on the side, and I know that they've given 110%, I have offered that parent to bring them back for an additional hour or on another day so that I can continue to work with them at my expense, not at theirs, because with what I'm doing is more than, it is a service and it is for a fee, but you want that person to feel like, wow, she really do care about me learning, not she only cares about me paying her. So I have done that in the past, and with doing that, the word of mouth is, oh, call Rwanda, and I've been getting calls, oh, I was recommended by this person, and they say you're really good, but that parent and that child felt like, okay, well, I couldn't get it in an hour, and I did everything that she taught me, but I just couldn't get it. And there have been times where the parent just couldn't afford it, and I said, well, bring them back to me. I'll give you an hour. And that satisfied them, and when they could, they came back the next week and the following week. But it only took that one time to show them that I cared enough to say, I'll give you an hour. And from there, the service was continuous, but it wasn't an additional hour every time. But that one time grew them and built the confidence where they trusted me with that. And they said, okay, well, I'll pay you this thing, I'll pay you. And the service was continuing, but it was that they were paying their fees. But all they wanted to know was she cared. That's
basically what it is. It still goes back to that. And that attitude has to carry over again. It's all the same thing. It comes back down to the same issue of caring. even when someone's upset, even when you're upset, okay, as an owner, or when something goes on, it's the care factor in all of it. We all need a little TLC, even the boss, okay? Yeah.
And even with the staff, like at the school that I work at, because I work at a private school,
Okay.
and I've been doing some administrative stuff, even though I'm not an administrator. But going back to the morale, I've been at this school for 9 years. So at this particular school, it may be a day, it can be as simple as bringing lunch for staff, or it can be as simple as bringing just a snack, because I brought a cheesecake roll with the different styles of cheesecake, and just to the teachers, because it's not many of us, you know, I just took it and gave it to them, and they were like, wow, thank you, this really means a lot. All they want to feel, the staff just want to feel appreciated just like the customer do.
Yeah.
So it doesn't take much even to build the morale of the staff. It's something very, very small for them to say, oh wow, they thought about me. It goes a long way.